with it. It's that kind of resistance that we sometimes feel as a part of the human condition, not to fully embrace the Catholic faith and to live life as a true martyrdom. I mean, it's scary. It's kind of, it really puts the pressure on us to give of ourselves completely, not 98% or 99%. It's 100% total, and that's scary. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Like, that's not like anyone could easily say, "Oh yeah, sure, no worries." It is scary. So I think in that sense, in some of us, we'd love to be saints, but we realise that the only reason that we're not yet striving for that right now is because we're a bit scared. So I mean, it could be interpreted a bit differently, and I hope it doesn't. But I think that's what he was trying to get at. Thanks.
Another quick question.
Hey, yeah, the whole culture. Right, hold on, let me start again. The whole culture war, the thing I've kind of noticed over the past few years, the church seems to be a victim of information warfare, mainly from the media itself, where it actively attacks anything had to do with Christianity, although the only exception I saw to this was World Youth Day. But I don't know, the media tends to portray Christianity, particularly the Catholic Church, in a very negative light. And I've also seen some of the consequences online as well, where I've gotten to a few online discussions with certain people who think Christianity is a sham or it's a fiction or anything like that. Is there anything the church has been actively doing to try to counter that, or is there anything that we can do?
Sure. Well, I feel like I could pass the microphone over to the young lady to my right here, who's very good at answering that sort of question. Catherine's been great in the media for the past for a while, and there are. I mean, the church does get slogged in the media. Negative is a nice way of probably saying it. They probably get slogged a bit worse than just negative. But I mean, that's always going to be the case. I doubt we'll ever get complete positive light from the media, from mere worldly type authorities. I don't really think that's going to happen. I think if that does happen, that's probably a problem. If the media starts getting really, really happy about the church, it probably means we're doing something wrong. If they're criticising us, it's probably a good thing. I think I don't see that too much as, I mean, it is negative that it's bad, that it's against the church, but in that sense it means we're doing our right job, because our Lord never said that we'd be the most popular people on earth. But then again, the church can do something in the media, and the church has done something. Pope John Paul II's pontificate was a huge example of how one can engage in the media and evangelise through that. In the States, they've done a great work with ads and TV campaigns, things called Catholics Come Home, as well as other media networks, in advancing pro-life issues, as well as just generally a representation of the church. So yes, there is something that we can do. We also need young people involved in the media, not just in Catholic media outlets, but also in normal secular media outlets as well. We need people working in journalism, in the TV, in all areas, to represent the church and properly give an adequate defence and portrayal of the church in issues in the media. That's something that we definitely need. We don't have enough, but we do need more young people willing to kind of put themselves in the pit, so to speak, and really kind of grapple with these sorts of things in an environment that is very hostile. Like, there's no doubt about it that the media is very hostile, but we need some martyrs in the media. So.
Hi Pat.
Hi.
I saw you on Life on the Rock on EWTN, and you mentioned an event called Catholic Underground. I was wondering if you could just tell us something about that.
Yeah. Catholic Underground is an event they have in all parts of the States. It popped up in New York first. It's an event that happens once a month on the first Saturday of the month on a Saturday evening. It's organised by the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, the CFRs as they're known, and they have a holy hour in a church there in New York. I can't remember the name of the church, but they get about 500-600 young people all packing out this church for an hour of adoration with some praise and worship music by the CFRs. And then after that comes the underground bit, where everyone moves downstairs to this kind of dark, kind of cool hall, and they pack it out with it's like even more people. It's like 800 people, and they have these awesome bands come on and play really, really great music. It's not necessarily Catholic music; it's just a Catholic band playing really fun music, live entertainment. Honestly, it's an awesome event. I was over there and I was like blown away. I was like, wow, it's just like better than Theology on Tap in Sydney. I was like, and Faith on Tap now at Brisbane. But it was really, really cool. So they're actually coming out, the CFRs are coming to Sydney in a month or so in July for a congress that's being organised down there. So if anyone you want to catch plane tickets down to Sydney for that conference, you'll be able to see a Catholic underground in Sydney. Maybe you could start one up here. Maybe like an offshoot of Faith on Tap.
Hi, Pat. I was talking with my boss the other day, and he's very into science and all that kind of thing, and there's rarely a day that'll go past when there isn't the great science versus religion debate for a few fish and chips.
As you do.
He was saying saying how he was watching a program the other night that was saying religion is in its last throes, that throughout history religion's been such a focal part of society and its hierarchies, and now there's just the last few remaining big religions trying to keep members. What do you think of the great contrast between religion and science, and how, particularly the media, but society in general, seems to pit them against each other rather than them working together?
Sure. Well, first I would say that his observation that religion is declining is unscientific. If there's polls that are taken of these sorts of things, and some people usually quote polls, for example, that show that from 1960 to 2008 there's been a decline in religious observance. What they fail to note that they don't take stats of the results from 1997 to 2008, which actually show a huge increase in the amount of religious observance among young people in particular. So, first of all, if you want to talk stats, the stats are on our side. Yes, there is a bit of but there's a resurgence of young people taking their faith seriously around the world. So, first, straight science can work with him, and scientific polls and things like that. Now, on the issue of religion against science, I mean that's something that's been going down for ages. People always pit that against each other, and it's become more popular these days with the four horsemen. What are they called? I can't remember the phrase. That describes the four individuals who are the new atheists: the Christopher Hitchens, Daniel Dennett, Richard Dawkins, and some other guy, Samuel Harris. These are all, really pro-science, anti-religion people who are the kind of like the flag bearers of this new atheism that has kind of become really popular. You might have seen the book The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins and God Is Not Great by Christopher Hitchens. And all these people claim to be, really pro-science and very anti-religion. These guys are just kind of reincarnations of people who've come down throughout the ages in different forms. Not reincarnation, I'm not advocating reincarnation, just to clear that up, didn't know that might have been misinterpreted. It's always been the same. Good science is never in conflict with religion. I'll say that out straight away. If there is one thing of science, and this is the claim that the church makes, if there is one claim in science that conflicts or is contradictory with religious faith, then we might as well all just start going partying and forget the faith. There's no point. Because if all truth is derived from God, then scientific truths about the world, will be completely consistent with truths about the faith. So I'd honestly ask them to give certain examples and arguments, and they have, but I mean these have been refuted, and all these sorts of issues have been tackled. Particularly good people like Alistair McGrath, a Christian from Oxford University. He's a great debater against these sorts of people. You can read his books, as well as I'm trying to remember this other guy from Pakistan. He's in the States. I can't remember his name's escaped me. But there's heaps of very good authors who are able to debate these sorts of issues and give a very good, convincing side of science. A lot of these new atheist philosophers, end up becoming more dogmatic than the people who they actually oppose. You'll find them claiming of us being dogmatists and people who are fundamentalists and things like this, but in essence they're more fundamental and dogmatic than we are. So sound science, just good smart reasoning and casual dialogue can really just kind of refute a lot of the claims against science and religion, which really isn't a war of science against religion, it's more a war of bad science against religion, that's what I'd say.
Pat, you're talking about saints. Who's your favourite saint? You can pin it down to one.
That's a good question. My favourite saint would probably be San Jose Maria Escrivá, the founder of Opus Dei. The thing I like about San Jose Maria Escrivá is how he shows that our daily work can be aspects of sanctification, of how we can unite whatever we're doing, whether it be garbage collecting, being a lawyer,